All right, the Trump administration is now shattering records when it comes to illegal immigration. In his first 50 days in office, President Trump doubled the rate of ICE arrests. In fact, according to our very own Bill Maloogian, senior ICE, and DHS officials are reporting that interior ICE arrests under President Trump have already surpassed Biden's 2024 fiscal year total. ICE now has made so many arrests that one official says immigration detention is now maxed out with nearly 50,000 detainees. President Trump has made our border so secure. According to Reuters, there is now a surge of illegals in Mexico seeking help to return home, self-deporting. Bye-bye. As the president has already now surpassed Biden's total from 2024, ICE officials are now accusing the Biden administration of, quote, cooking the books when it came to the number of ICE arrests. And now, amid the Trump administration and their crackdown on illegal immigration, border czar Tom Homan appeared at the New York State Capitol today, where he was greeted by radical far-left protesters who shouted at him. He walked by, couldn't care less, eating his apple. Take a look. He looked very disturbed, didn't he? Now, during his visit, he also issued a very stern warning to New York State's governor, Kathy Hochul, about the state's sanctuary status. Take a look.
You're not going to stop us. New York State, you got to change the sanctuary status. If you don't, get out of the way, because we're going to do our job. We'll double the man force here if we have to. Because rather than one officer arresting a bad guy in the jail, one officer arresting one bad guy, now I got to send the whole team because of officer safety concerns, community safety concerns, to go look for this guy. Very inefficient, especially looking for people that don't want to be found. Which means what? It means we send more officers to New York to get the job done.
All right, the Trump administration border czar Tom Homan is with us now. You look really nervous and very upset as you were eating your apple walking down the hall as they were chanting at you. Not a surprise. Let's talk about why you were there and the message you were sending the state of New York.
Well, I was there meeting with the Republican legislation there in New York because of New York's sanctuary status laws. You know, you got Governor Hochul, who stood on national TV after NYPD officers were assaulted, saying she thinks criminal aliens should be deported. She said the same thing after a young woman was burned alive on a subway by an illegal alien. So she says, yeah, criminal aliens should be deported. However, when Mayor Adams meets with me and wants to help us arrest criminal aliens, get us back on Rikers Island, she goes down there and tries to fire them. She's got the green light law where ICE officers and CBP officers can't get DMV data. When they pull a car over here, they don't even know who they are because they can't get data from DMV because she locked them out. And if she says they need a warrant to get that data, and if they get the warrant to get that data, what's New York do? They notify the bad guy that we're investigating him. So I'm up here calling her out for sanctuary policies.
Well, I mean, tell me how that's not aiding and abetting, and tell me about the supremacy clause. Is this not under the jurisdiction of the federal government?
It absolutely is, and that's why Pam Bondi's suing the state of New York. We got Pam Bondi as the AG now, so you know New York's going to have some issues. But the men and women, like you just said, the great numbers that came out. God bless the men and women of ICE and the Border Patrol. They put their lives on the line for this country every day. President Trump is committed to seeking the worst of the worst, the significant public safety threats and national security threats. And you got a governor that doesn't share DMV data with us, which help us target these people, and she's going to notify them we're doing an operation against them. I mean, the job's already dangerous enough, and her actions make it more dangerous. Again, Mayor Adams coming to the table, and she wants to fire him because he wants to make New York City safer against illegal alien crime. American people have demanded we take action. They gave President Trump a mandate. President Trump's going to keep his promise to the American people.
Didn't the idea of legal driver's licenses for illegals in New York take place under Cuomo, though?
Well, yeah, they did. But you know what? She hasn't done anything about it. Look, I'll say it again. You just read the numbers. ICE is arresting public safety threats every day, the worst of ways, child molesters, rapists, robbers. I mean, these people are serious. TDA members, MS-13 members, gang members. And for any elected official, a governor or mayor or city councilwoman that's going to push back on us for taking public safety threats out of their communities, they don't earn the position they're sitting in.
Okay, so U.S. immigration detention Are you really maxed out? And how do you handle that? Because I don't think you're going to stop arresting people. So where are you going to put them?
Look, I'm working Secretary Kristi Noem, and she's knocking it out of the park, and she's doing a great job. President Trump and the whole team. We got beds being built in the Guantanamo Bay. We're up to 30,000 beds in Guantanamo Bay. I got hundreds of sheriffs coming to me wanting us to buy their beds in their jails. So the sheriffs are stepping up. We got more 287G agreements now, Sean, than we've ever had in the history of this nation. So we're going to keep moving. But let me be clear. Congress needs to fund this effort. We need to buy more beds. We need more airplanes to fly these people out of the country at record numbers. So we need Congress to fund what the American people voted for. Secure the border, which they've done at record pace. President Trump did in 3 weeks, but Joe Biden couldn't do in 4 years. But we need money to run the deportation operation. And most importantly, we need money to find 300,000 missing children, many of them in forced labor, many in forced sex trafficking. We need money to get this done.
Tell us about the effort to get people to self-report and register if they're in the country illegally. And have you made progress with the people that are tipping off illegal immigrants about pending raids, putting the lives of ICE agents at risk?
Yeah, well, Secretary Noem did some public messaging. It's all over the airwaves, and it's had a tremendous effect. People are self-deporting. As you reported earlier, the intelligence reports say caravans are heading south. The Panama Canal, the Darien Gap is busy again, but guess what? It's busy moving south. And as far as the whistleblowers, Pam Bondi, Secretary Noem has already located a couple of them. She's referred to the DOJ for prosecutions. That's my understanding. And if there's any more leakers, we're looking for them. We'll fire you. We'll prosecute you. We're going to get this job done.
You're going to get it done. I've never seen anyone more dialed in on their job than you. Tom Homan, as always, thank you.